Hello, it's the Badminton Painter, and it's been a good while since I've done anything Tau related. And honestly, I had this kill team set of Kroot Warriors and good stuff, and I didn't really think I was going to make a video on it because no one was going to watch it. It was so niche, so it might be a waste of time, and I would just paint them up for myself. But then Games Workshop released something and announced something, and hey, now there might be one or two people out there who are actually interested in painting Kroot Warriors. So that's what I did. I start out with a severely thinned down Dead Wolf Forest as a base layer. And then I go in with my patented. Anywho, I go in with my stabbing technique of Elysian Green. And it's generally just putting a little bit too much paint on a stiff brush and stabbing the living shit out of the model. I found out that it gives like a nice texture, and the Kroot skin was kind of intimidating for me to try out. And honestly, it turned out to be the only thing that was like remotely successful of this paint job, but hey. Next I go in with a fairly heavy dry brush of Ogryn Caramel. And by heavy I mean that I don't wipe out off that much of the paint. And finally for the flesh, an Elder Flesh dry brush where I wipe out most of it. And it's a dry paint as well from Citadel, which I'm pretty sure is a scam. And then finally, to bring some life back into the skin on these models, Beltan Green shading, and it just after all that dry brushing, things were kind of flat, and it added a little bit more depth to it. For the hair spikes thing, I decided to use Berserker Red from Two Thin Coats. It's kind of like corn red, only it's a little bit darker, and I found that suitable. And that's for all the spikes or the hair, whatever you want to call it. And then I recommend a big glob of Barak Nar Burgundy for all the cloaks. And for this kill team on this set, I could have used different colors for cloaks and stuff like that, but I like uniformity. So I decided to do this for all the cloaks. And it's a fairly nice color that I don't use very often because I don't really have an excuse for painting stuff burgundy. But I like it. Next I take Buckman's Glow, and I put a little bit on a base brush, and then I kind of use it as a dry brush. It becomes more of a smearing because I wanted to add a fairly big or thick coat, not thick coat. I want to add a lot of it to make the cloaks look worn and torn and textured. Next, to highlight the hair, spikes, things, I use corn red. Again, it's a little bit lighter than my base color, so it works fairly good for highlighting. Then for their bellies, or I don't know, they're kind of like bugs or frogs, I don't know, the salamanders. Anywho, their stomach seems to have another color, and I decided to use Angor flesh because it suited it. Now, these guys are absolutely ridden with leather straps and belts and stuff. So Morfang Brown from Citadel for that. Simply because it's a mid-range brown and it takes shading very well. Next, Iron Hand Steel for the weapons. Well, for all the metal, hooks and other good stuff they have around. There's also a lot of swords and some grenades, not a lot of grenades, but some grenades. The belt buckles, breastplates, everything metal. And then it's time for some dryad bark. I use that for all the gun handles. To add another kind of brown to the model, to have a little bit more variation. I could have used Morphang brown and just shaded it a bit heavier on the gun handles, but I felt like this was worth the effort. Time for shading. Dark brown from Vallejo. I thinned it up a bit with a medium. I think I did a 40-60 kind of thing. And then I just kind of slap it on. I slap it on everything brown or silver to dirty things up a little bit. Now for all the shin pads, I don't know what to call it, the leg decorations, leather masks, stuff like that, I use Corvus Black from Citadel because it's an off black. It's a grayish black, so it looks a little bit like black leather. And I try to not fuck up my paint job too badly. And next up, black wash, and I run that over all the Corvus Black parts, and that's just to add some depth to it. The black wash from Army Painter is very runny, very thin, so it will only be visible in the crevices, which is fairly perfect if you want to wash something black without making it super black. Screaming Skull from Citadel, for the skulls and bones around. These guys like to decorate themselves with skulls from their enemies. It's a Games Workshop thing that skulls is apparently something you strap on your hip and run around with, because everyone knows that a skull is practical in combat. Yeah, and then the gang leader, for some reason, yeah, he had a, what's it called? It's a Tau gun. Doesn't matter. He had one of those, so I painted that white. And I went in with some shade afterwards. And finally, normally I don't do eyes because it's a waste of time. But I felt like their faces needed some detail, and I decided to go in and dab them with the Yardan yellow, and then that's basically it. So the footage that I lost was me giving the beaks of them basilicum, the grey wash, grey contrast from Citadel, just on the mouth parts. That video is for some reason gone forever. I don't know why. I'm bad at this. So, but this is the finished result. First glance, I weren't really that happy with it. I thought they looked quite messy and sloppy, but looking at it now, it's fairly decent. It's okay, and especially I'm glad with what I achieved with the skin, because it was quite easy to get a lot of detail into that skin, and it looks fairly good. I mean, yeah, I'm proud of myself. So much should be anyway. Anywho, if you like content like this, where people that have no idea what they're doing tell you how to do it, please do leave a like and subscribe. Are you looking forward to the new Kroot releases from Games Workshop? I am. It's going to be awesome. Anywho, I know your time is limited, therefore it's valuable. That's how economy works. And I appreciate that you spent 9 or 10 minutes looking at my stuff. It actually means a lot to me. So have an awesome day, and I will hopefully see you soon for another upload. Bye.